Welcome to Holistic Hot Talk, empowering listeners to connect with movers and shakers in the integrative and holistic health world. Informing you is our passion. Our guests are making a statement that health promotion and disease prevention is possible. Sit back, relax, and join our Holistic Hot Talk team for timely discussions with our guests. Now, let's get on with the show.
Fascinating morning that we're having with all this wonderful information, wonderful guests that we're having, and I really am privileged to welcome Dr. Larry Schmidt to the podium. A little about him: a family physician who had an epiphany and started to discover what is going on with our medical system and how can we make it better. Truly inspiring. Dr. Larry Schmidt in lifestyle medicine, pioneering the new wave of family medicine here in Ontario, in London, Ontario. Welcome to the podium, Dr. Schmidt.
First of all, I want to thank the organizing committee, and I want to thank Victoria, because I'm just going to make a couple of quick add-on comments to her. She is absolutely right in everything that she's just told you, that we have to eat for fuel, and that's the way your body will react. So I'm going to come back to her talk a few times during my talk, just to go over a few things. So just a little bit about my background. I've been in here, London, my whole life as a medical practitioner, and I've drank the Kool-Aid along with everybody else that was taught in a traditional Western, and I don't mean Western, I mean Western medical practice. And the thing that really happened to me about 5 years ago is I became a critical thinker. And I'll tell you why I became a critical thinker. So, if I can get this to work. Okay. That was me in 2011. Getting ready to play Santa Claus. Not terribly jolly, type 2 diabetic, hypertensive, 4 medications, 50 pounds ago, okay? And that was me 3 years later, when I learned how to eat, and learn how to get off the couch, learn how to run. I used to make fun of runners. I was a shot putter in high school, and running was actually, that was something you got punished with if you didn't do the right thing in sports. So give me a lap. So now I do lots of laps, and I'm happy to say a lot of my running friends are here. So you can teach an old doc new tricks. And the thing that I learned when I started running is that's my epiphany. My epiphany was my brain was flooded with new thoughts, new oxygen, new nutrition. And then I started to challenge everything that I learned about medicine. And then, of course, went down to conferences in the States where I learned how to do lifestyle medicine. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. The other thing is that people, and a lot of you have practitioners that don't talk to you about this because they don't walk the walk themselves, right? That's me at the Army Run in Ottawa this fall, running a half marathon. So when you walk the walk, in fact, when I decided to lose all the weight and eat healthier, I also decided to shave my head because I just had the little Friar Tuck rim of hair. And my patients thought I was going through chemo. They all asked me, "Why are you sick?" And I said, "I haven't felt this good in 30 years. So you can take back your health, and you can take it back at any time in your life. I waited way too long. I should have done this 30 years ago. And some of my running friends can attest to that. But there's no time better than to do it now. And this is my day every day. 70% of every patient list that I get in front of me is dealing with the impact of chronic disease and lifestyle. Okay, and I think I'm speaking to people here that know what I'm talking about. So it's the leading cause of death worldwide. In fact, it is going to economically cripple the planet in the next 30 years. I just saw a stat the other day that the incidence of type 2 diabetes in Indonesia in 2020 is going to hit 330 million people who don't have health care. So think about the heart attacks, think about the cancers, think about the amputations, think about the disability. And this is in a country that doesn't have great health care, right? Or a large group of countries. So we've got a lot of work to do. So what is lifestyle medicine? It's really a branch of evidence-based medicine, and really it's looking at the lifestyle factors that really impact disease. So it really is what you eat, how you move, how you sleep, who your friends are, all those sorts of things. And it's really, and getting people to quit smoking and cut down on their alcohol. These are the environmental exposures. And like I said, and like Victoria said, we're not even going to get into GMOs and everything else. You know, when the Canadian government allows us to produce an apple that doesn't turn brown when you cut it, because we want to create more wealth, I think we should all be skeptical. If all of you don't support the sugar tax, then shame on you. I think it should be 40% on every soda can. So anyway, lifestyle diseases really are the leading cause of death worldwide. This is just, you know, when I graduated from Western, when we looked at the list of medications that we were prescribing as physicians, there was only about 20% that were lifestyle related. High blood pressure pills, cholesterol pills. We were still dealing with infectious disease and those sorts of things. Now, I just saw a statistic the other day, 80% of all the drugs, and trust me, it's 750 million prescriptions in Canada for our small population. 750 million of those prescriptions are written for lifestyle related diseases. Hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, stroke prevention. And it's recommended for these diseases. So, you know, I mean, this again is 3/4 of my day. And yet we know that all of these diseases are prevented. It's often been said the best treatment of any disease is not to get it. So why are we putting the money into not to get it? You know, we have a very reactive healthcare system. So, you know, and this gets back to Victoria's comments, like where are the programs? Where are the studies? Where, you know, that you don't see funded studies on broccoli and running shoes. I mean, they don't exist, right? And yet we know it. The science has been there for 50 years, 60 years. We've known that breast cancer is extremely linked to high intake of dairy, high intake of meats, and yet we don't have policy to fund looking at these things. So where's the education? And where are the clinical practice recommendations? Okay, I'm a family physician. I get bombarded every year with the new clinical practice guidelines, and they're all pharma, every single one of them. Like they pay lip service to lifestyle right at the very top, you know, encourage your patient, exercise more, eat better, you know, sleep more. That's it. They don't tell you where to go or how to do it. So Ian McQuinney was one of my teachers, and he's really the father of family medicine in Canada. If you go down the street to the Canadian Medical Hall of Fame, he's the only family physician who's ever been nominated posthumously, but he's in there, okay? And the reason is that he really defined what family medicine was. And this is what he said back in his book in '97. And in fact, he always told me, if you don't know what to do, then give yourself. And that became a mantra. Most people that know how I practice medicine know that that's me. Like the nurses that I used to do obstetrics, the nurses in the delivery room said, "You practice like a midwife." And I go, "What does that mean?" They go, "You know what I mean." So, what Ian said is that we have a golden opportunity at least 4 times a year to see our patients. And in fact, some of us see them way more often than that. And this is a golden time to talk about let me prescribe all your 6 medications, and are you interested in getting off any of them? And then motivate that patient, learn how to become a coach, and learn how to get them moving in the right direction. Does anybody remember the Lalonde report? Okay, some of us are old enough to know the Lalonde report. But, you know, as I became a critical thinker, I thought, you know what, I want to know where we went wrong. Okay, like where did we as a society go wrong? Where did we as a country go wrong? If you go back to the Lalonde report and read it, and it's on the internet, you should read it. I mean, it is one of the best prepared reports on the health and welfare of Canadians. And it was tabled, funnily, on April 1st, 1974. But this is what one of the key comments was. And it's kind of sad that physicians, surgeons, nurses, and hospitals together spend much of their time treating the ills caused by environmental factors and behavioral risks. That was said back in 1974 when you saw some of Victoria's slides where, you know, our obesity rate was 10%. You know, this year the pre-diabetic and diabetic rate in Canada is 33% and now it's been called a foodborne illness. Like we used to talk about foodborne illness, like salmonella, and things like that. Foodborne illness now is diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, stroke, and many cancers. Like we know that men's prostate cancer, women's breast cancer, these things are linked to stress, food, toxins, and those sorts of things. So they really are linked to lifestyle. And the sad thing is the only thing that we adopted out of the Lalonde report was seatbelt legislation. Because this came from the feds down to the provinces. The provinces said, we control healthcare, don't you tell us what to do. And so that was the end of it. But you know what? The 3 Nordic countries got a hold of our report, and so Sweden, Norway, Finland, some of the 3 healthiest countries in the world, adopted all of our recommendations. Sad, absolutely sad. So in that time frame, this is what we ended up doing, okay? This is nurses and doctors mopping up chronic disease management, and nobody knows how to turn off the tap. We get more mops, we graduate more people to man the mops, but the tap is running, and it's just going to continue to run until we start to spend money the other way. So these are some statistics taken off Canadian websites, and you can see that we're up to now, actually in 2015, we're closing in on 13% of our gross national product goes to healthcare. And you know what? Our statistics are no better, right? In fact, up until 1985, it took man about half a million years to get to the highest life expectancy we could find on the planet. And in those years since 1985, we are going the other way. And the sad thing is all of our grandparents, their disease trajectory was this, right? They did well, and then got to 85 and then just, got a disease and died. And now people start that decline at 40 or 25. I mean, Victoria and I have shared a couple of patients with polycystic ovarian syndrome, metabolic syndrome, large women with multiple medical issues. And really, it starts very young, and it's reversible. It's completely reversible. So yeah, we're still spending less than 2% of our budget on health promotion and prevention, and most of that is case finding. It's not even prevention. It's doing mammograms on women, doing pap smears, doing immunizations for kids. That's what the government calls health prevention or promotion. It's not. It's case finding. We haven't prevented any cases really. And this is why finally the Canadian Cancer Society this year got involved doing a study linking lifestyle to the different cancers. So this is the way we do lifestyle medicine, okay? And I'm going to tell you a bit more about how we're going to do it where I'm working right now, because we're going to have a patient portal EMR, which is something unique and novel to the Canadian system, but you as a patient have a copy of your own chart at home. Everything I discuss goes to your chart at home. You can actually upload your Fitbit back to my chart. So it's a completely engaged 24/7 chart, and for people that want to participate in their own healthcare, it's really the wave of the future. So it'll make it easier for me to motivate, look for compliance, talk about lifestyle issues, and continue to engage the patient. So imagine having those quarterly visit with your doc, and you say, yeah, let's go over your lifestyle wellness goals, instead of, yeah, let's see how many more drugs we can add. So is it possible to really transform our illness-based care system into a true health care system? And I think the answer is yes. I mean, I think that there's a way of doing this. Anybody ever heard of this? I mean, I know some of you have, okay? So COM actually grew up in your backyard. You didn't know this, but there's some of the COM members are here tonight. And so this is something we've started here in London, Ontario, and hopefully it'll gather some traction nationally. And really what it is it's a large group of providers working in a nonprofit organization to educate, advocate, and provide research. And we are linked to the American and the European and the Global Alliance of lifestyle medicine organizations. And these are some of the people that are involved in our organization. So it is inclusive and not exclusive in any way. I think there's, and it truly brings an integrative approach to the whole lifestyle movement. Anybody seen this building go up on Richmond Street at Victoria?
The old McCormick?
Yeah, the old McCormick home. This is where I work now. Okay. Anybody know what's in that building? No? Okay, so imagine if this was your doctor's office. Okay, and imagine if this was your doctor's office. Okay, so, and I don't have room for all of you in my practice, but the docs that I'm going to be leading there will, this is Canada's largest medical facility with a lifestyle medicine platform, and you won't even see something this big in the United States, okay? It is so new, it's scary to some people, but it's going to really be a game changer, I hope, in the province of Ontario, and then get more national traction. This is the only way to change our medical system. We've got to become more engaged with our patients. We've got to be able to engage them on a different level and get people moving in the other direction. Our system, everything you read in the paper is absolutely true, and now we're pitting each other one against the other. You see the nurses are chiming in with their ads, the docs are chiming in with their ads, the government's pushing back, and the reason is nobody's got any money, right? We have used up our grace period. The system is starting to tank. And the only way to get it better is to start decreasing utilization. The only way we're going to decrease utilization is to get people healthier and get people off medications. And certainly the insurance providers are at their breaking point as well with disability and payments and so on. So we've got to get moving in the other direction. And I'm happy to be part of this because I dropped by the little trailer on the edge of the hole in the ground 2 years ago. And I was only curious because I saw a gymnasium, and I've said, a lot of people that have known me for years have known that I've said, I wish my office was next to the Y, and I think Good Life missed the boat years ago. They should have put docs' offices in every Good Life in the country, and they would have changed the paradigm years ago. But I dropped into that trailer 2 years ago, and I go, I'm in. I don't even see the building, but I'm in. If this is the philosophy, and then of course met the CEO, and the rest is history. So lifestyle medicine really needs to become the central driving force behind healthcare from here on in. I think, when I've looked at my 30 years of practice, I know that we've got to start moving the needle the other way. And I'm even happy to say with our next speaker coming up is that, on the second floor in this rejuvenation center, there's a yoga studio and there's a meditation studio in the building. And so we are going to teach community and docs and even our residents and family practice trainees that all of this is part of the new way of doing medicine for the future. So I thank you for your time.